Glory returned to the United States in July when we hit New York City and the theater at Madison Square Garden for Glory 43. 11 bouts were featured, highlighted by the impressive knockout debut of Glory featherweight Chen Chen Li of China and lightweight Elvis Gashi of the United States. In the latter, Gashi pulled off the biggest upset of 2017 so far when he took down 5th-ranked Josh Johnsey with a second-round knockout. The night saw the debut of Anessa Mexen, one of the best women kickboxers of all time, and Kevin Van Ostrand, who upset 4th-ranked Giga Chikadze to capture the featherweight contender tournament. Our main events of the evening saw Pavel Zurlev take home the light heavyweight interim title and Guto Inocenc upsetting number 1 ranked heavyweight Benjamin Adegbuyi. Now as the summer winds down, the next stop is the Windy City and our return to Chicago for Glory 44. The main attractions will be 2 title fights. The first one in the women's super bantamweight division when current champ Tiffany van Soest returns to the Glory ring for the first time since defeating Amel Debbie at Glory Collision. Our other main event for the welterweight title is shaping up as Can't Miss TV. A stack card also features the return of heavyweight favorite Catlin Morisanu of Romania, Chicago native Richard Abraham, and fan favorite Dustin Jacoby. We'll profile all this and more on Inside Glory next. Welcome to Inside Glory. I'm Todd Grisham. Glory Kickboxing is the premier kickboxing organization in the world. And if you're not too familiar, allow me to explain. Glory consists of 7 weight divisions, and every Glory event features 1 and sometimes 2 title fights. In addition to that, every Glory card has a 4-man contender tournament where the winner must fight and win twice in one night to capture the trophy and get 1 step closer to a title shot. As we near Glory 44 Chicago, let's catch you up on each of the 7 weight classes in our Glory division recap. In December 2016, the inaugural Women's Super Bantamweight Tournament came to a close at Glory Collision in Germany. American time bomb Tiffany van Soest took 3 straight victories and the title to be crowned the first division champion. Van Soest makes her first title defense at Glory 44 Chicago against Turkish tornado Funda Alkais. In the featherweight division, Ruben van Roosmalen faced contender tournament winner Pech Panamarung of Thailand in front of a home crowd at Glory 41 Holland. The Dutchman took the vacant title and now aims to hold 2 belts in 2 divisions, with another title shot with Thai lightweight champ Sidichai in his sights. But first, Van Roosmalen must face Ukrainian ex-champion Sergey Adamchuk at Glory 45 Amsterdam, while new featherweight contender tournament champion Kevin Van Ostrand is waiting in the wings. At Glory 39 Brussels, Sidichai defended the lightweight belt for a second time, fighting contender tournament winner Dylan Salvador. As Sidichai turned up the pace, the Frenchman wilted under the bombardment of relentless knees to the midsection. Salvador folded in the 4th, giving Sidichai another knockout win. In the welterweight division, French belt holder Cedric Doumbé took a home turf rematch against ex-champion Nicky Holtzkin at Glory 42 Paris.
Touch gloves if you like.
Oh, and there's one of those patent uppercuts, followed by a massive low kick. Over 5 rounds, Doumbé showed that his first win against Holtzkin was no fluke and edged a split decision victory to retain his title. Still Doumbé's 3rd title defense will be a bad-tempered rematch with Murthel Groenhart at Glory 44 Chicago. At Glory 40 Copenhagen, Simon Marcus challenged the man who took his middleweight belt, reigning champion Jason Psycho Wilness. This time, Marcus showed Wilness's power some respect and kept his focus. Marcus regained the belt by the narrowest of margins and has no intention of giving it back anytime soon. In the meantime, Wilness returns to take on rising star Yusuri Belgari at Glory 45 Amsterdam in a matchup that could put the winner in contention for a title shot. Light heavyweight champion Artem Vahitov retained the title after a dazzling defeat of Brazilian behemoth Saulo Cavallari at Glory 38 Chicago. A recurring injury has him temporarily sidelined, and under Glory rules, a light heavyweight interim title bout took place at Glory 43 New York, when Brazilian Saulo Cavallari faced Ukrainian monster Pavel Zurevlev. Zurevlev pummeled his way to victory, and alongside contender tournament winner Ariel Machado, both await a shot at Vahitov. And at the top of it all, heavyweight superstar Rico Verhoeven continued his winning streak through 2016 and 2017. After his historic defeat of Badr Hari at Glory Collision, Verhoeven was victorious once again against another Moroccan, Ismail Lazar at Glory 41 Holland. His next title defense will be against Man Mountain Jamal Big Ben Sadiq in December, but in the meantime, the division has turned upside down, with Brazilian knockout monster Guto Innocent blasting his way into the top rankings with a huge win over Benjamin Adegbuyi. Halfway through the year, and already 2017 is shaping up to be Glory's best year ever. The next few months should be amazing, starting in Chicago, where we'll have 2 titles up for grabs. Up next on Inside Glory, I'll be joined by my broadcast partner, Bazooka Joe, Joseph Valtellini, along with our inside training feature on welterweight world challenger, Murthel Groenhart.
It's not easy to be at the top.
And later on, we shine our spotlight on Glory champion, Tiffany van Soest. Welcome back to Inside Glory. My name is Todd Grisham, and joining me now, of course, my broadcast colleague who's wearing a very spiffy blazer. It's Joseph Valtellini, the former welterweight champion of the world. Glory 44 coming up in Chicago from top to bottom. One of the best cards I know I've ever been around. You're excited too, but let's start right at the tip top. Murthel Groenhart goes for the world title. He's got to beat Cedric Doumbé to do it. Give us your thoughts.
Well, that's a fight that's been in the works for a while now. Both guys are talkers, and that's what makes this fight exciting. Doumbé has been very vocal in his career, and especially with his fights with Nikki. He started this hashtag, End of Nikki. Now he's starting a new one. I think it's called End of Murthel. He's starting with his antics, and Murthel's a fighter who's very emotional himself, and already you see the tension building. So the fight build-up has been amazing, and those guys are really good at promoting this fight. But when you look at the fight itself, I think it's the fight that can give Doumbé a tough fight, because Murthel is that fighter who is a little bit unorthodox himself. He'll be, one moment you think he's out, then he comes with this explosive combination that throws everyone off. He's got those flying knees, and he does those unexpected things that make him very dangerous. Where Doumbé, in his last few fights, has fought that traditional kickboxer. When he fought Johan Congolo, Congolo is more that power fighter that comes forward. Nicky Holtzkin, the same thing, that counter fighter that continually comes forward. So Doumbé was really able to showcase his movement, his footwork, and that's what made him so successful and so entertaining to watch. But Groenhart has that little unorthodox style that could give him some problems.
Who's going to be the aggressor in this fight? We know Doumbé likes to fight on his back foot, likes to counterpunch. We've seen Murthel do the same thing.
I think it's going to end up being Murthel with his emotions. I think it's going to be really hard for Murthel to control himself. So I think he's going to really put that pressure on Doumbé, and that's the way you kind of beat him. If you're going to wait too long against Doumbé, that's where he's going to be able to use his angles, his footwork, and really frustrate you.
Talk about emotion. We saw what happened the last time Murthel Groenhart was in the ring, that crazy knockout over Harut Grigorian. Fans jumped in the ring, attacked Murthel. He says he's fine, he's ready to go. But after an incident like that and a victory like that, what does that do to his psyche?
Well, I think he's just a professional in this sport. He's been here so long. He's been fighting for many, many years all over the world. So I think he's going to keep that, use that little bit of motivation. At the end of the day, it was I know a big win to have on his career. No matter which way you look at it, it was a knockout win for Murthel. So he's riding it. He's got that motivation, and he's got a lot of power. If he lands his hands on Doumbé, could be over.
And for those of you wondering about Harut Grigorian, he is fine. In fact, he'll also be fighting on the Glory 44 card in Chicago. He's part of a contender tournament.
Well, yeah, if he wants his chance in that rematch at Murthel and, you know, the top names in the division, he's got a tough tournament to get to. But I'm just happy to see Harut's fine and he's back in action.
And he showed a lot of class after that incident, embracing Murthel Groenhart, and those guys certainly had some good sportsmanship on display there in Paris. And Cedric Doumbé, his win over Nicky Holzken, I think you said was his best performance ever. He looked fantastic. Any chance of him getting a little bit complacent? He said he never worked harder to get ready for a fight. It's almost becoming too easy for him now, maybe.
Well, I think he's just still so young. Like, he's very young in age, and he just keeps getting better. And even within his shorter Glory career, he's improved so much from his first fight with Murthel to now. You're going to see a totally different fight, and this rematch is going to be one of the better ones we've seen in Glory.
So that's the main event, Doumbé versus Groenhart. But guess what? There are so many fantastic fights on the Chicago card. We'll break down some more of them with my partner Joe here a little later in the show. Coming up next, Murthel Groenhart's 9 Glory wins places him second behind Nicky Holzken, who has 12, with the most victories ever in the welterweight division. Yet somehow Murthel has not been able to capture an elusive world title. As he trains for yet another title shot, this his third, he's more determined than ever to become a champion. Let's go inside training with the #1 welterweight contender in the world.
We're close at the gym, and we're going to sprint outside, you know, for the air, and we're going to sprint up the stairs. Then we're going to sprint all that piece.
We pakken sprintjes, we pakken kikkersprongen en we pakken uitlopen met een hupje erbij. Dus het is puur voor zijn conditie. Zijn conditie te vergroten, zijn longen open te maken, alles. Dus ik ga mijn broertje sterk maken voor de wedstrijd.
It means a lot, you know. When I get the belt, it's a life-changing thing. So it means a lot. I can show the people also, you know, why I've been training all these years so hard, you know, all that hard work, dedication. So the belt is some appreciation. I can show the people, myself, that, you know, hard work pays off.
Het maakt alleen jouw longen beter, hè? Je vergroot je longen, je maakt je conditie beter. Kijk, eerst hoeveel hadden we eerst gedaan? 8 rondjes. Plus dit. En nu hebben we dit nog erbij gedaan. Die uitstappen, die kikkersprongen, die sprinten. Het maakt alleen jouw luchtwegen beter, man. Snap je?
Ja.
Lekker, man. Lekker.
I want to dedicate this fight to many people, you know, who's been giving me some motivation, you know. First of all, my mother, you know, she's going through a difficult time at this point. So, but she told me to just stay focused and, you know, get that belt home. So that's what I'm going to do. It was hard, but it's so worth it, you know. The celebration I get when I get that title, when I knock Doumbé down, you know, it's all worth it. So, successful training. Ah. All the talk that's been going around, I don't pay attention to that much. I just pay attention to the belt because that's all I want. This is strictly business. No personal things. All the things he's saying, he said, no personal. It's only strictly business. You know, I'm not going to that personal thing anymore or something like that. Strictly business. You know, the first time he fought me in Paris, I bring him in because of my name. You know, he fought me, You know, I bring him into this game, and I'm ready to take him out. I don't like him. I don't like nobody who's gonna face me. That's just my thing when I fight him someone, you know? I don't like him.
Shake the beginning, body, pull back. Up. Over the top, immediately shoulder, left high kick.
My total focus on that belt, you know, I just gotta take him. You know, I owe it to myself. I owe it to the people, my fans. I can't tell you everything, how the fight's going, because, you know, he liked to watch my fight, he liked to watch my interviews, he liked to watch everything of me, you know, because he's a big fan of me. So I ain't gonna tell you that much, but I know he will get into trouble, you know. So I hope you train hard, because I will bring everything to him. Prepare yourself, man, because this ain't gonna be some tapping game. You ain't gonna get this with points, definitely not.
In Groenhart's last 8 fights, his only losses have come at the hands of champions Cedric Doumbé and Nicky Holzken. And if Groenhart wants to be added among that same company, he's going to get the opportunity. He can showcase his talents and become a world champion at Glory 44 Chicago. All he has to do is beat Cedric Doumbé. Good luck. Coming up a bit later on in Inside Glory, we'll shine our spotlight on the super bantamweight champion of the world, Tiffany van Soest. But up next, Bazooka Joe joins me once again as we look at the rest of this all-star card in Chicago. You're watching Inside Glory.
The world's #1 kickboxing promotion returns to the heart of America for Glory 44 Chicago. 2 world title fights as Cedric Doumbé and Tiffany van Soest defend their belts. Local hero Richard Abraham faces Aztec warrior Daniel Morales. Dustin Jacoby makes his much-anticipated return. And back once again, the pride of Romania, Catalin Morașanu. Glory 44 Chicago at the Sears Center Arena, Friday, August 25th. Don't miss it.
Welcome back, and it's time for round 2 with my broadcast colleague Joseph Valtellini as we break down the Glory 44 card coming up in Chicago. And the one guy I'm most looking forward to, Joe, has got to be Catalin Morașanu. The last time we saw this guy there, he had a highlight reel knockout, and he promises another one again.
Well, what was crazy about that fight, not only was the knockout insane, where he literally jumped at Green and almost fell to the ground himself.
He did fall down, yeah.
Because he threw all his power behind that shot. But what made that fight so entertaining was that Romanian community that was in Chicago. And I know we had a conversation after, it was one of the coolest fights because the atmosphere was wild. And every time that guy fights, that Romanian crowd's going crazy.
He may not be our heavyweight champion, but he's probably the most exciting heavyweight in the entire world right now. Can't wait to see him back in the Glory ring. And also, it's the return of Tiffany van Soest. She hasn't fought since December. What's that, 8-9 months? Yeah. She's been out of the Glory ring. What do you expect from her?
Well, I think she's just so good with her footwork that she's not scared to fight anyone. She knows, she's so confident with her movement and her explosiveness. I just think she's so talented that whoever fights her is going to have a hard time dealing with that movement and those angles that she can bring in the ring.
Glory 44 also marks the return of Richard Abraham fighting in his hometown again. Last time he did it, he was unsuccessful against Antoine Pinto. I know he's heartbroken over that decision. He's got a chance to do something about it when he faces Danny Morales.
Well, he's got a hometown. He brings a whole bunch of his friends and family and his teammates to this fight. So there is a lot of pressure for him to perform, but Richard Abraham shows that, you know, he is at this level, but he needs to string a few wins together to really solidify himself as one of the top in the division.
And Morales, also from Chicago, he's going to have a lot of friends and family there too, so it should be an electric atmosphere.
Yeah, Morales is one of those fighters that is constantly getting better. He's still new in his career, but every time we see Morales, he's constantly improving. He spent time in Holland. He's just on a right path to, and that vision to be a Glory World Champion. So both of these guys are hungry, and it just makes for a great fight.
It's always a pleasure to talk kickboxing with you.
It's what I do best, my man.
When we come back, Tiffany van Soest joins us in our spotlight as she prepares for her first world title defense. Welcome back to Inside Glory. My name is Todd Grisham. In 2016, Glory held its first ever Super Bantamweight Grand Prix tournament. 10 women from around the world battled for the chance to become the first ever women's champion in Glory history. After beating Esma Hassas at Glory 30 Los Angeles, Tiffany van Soest then took on Canadian Jessica Gladstone in the semifinals at Glory 36 Germany. Her second victory earned her the title shot against Amel Debbie of France, who'd beaten Isis Verbeek of the Netherlands. So at Glory Collision, it happened. Van Soest beat Debbie to become the premier women's kickboxer in the world today. She now comes to Chicago for her first title defense, looking to extend her dominance in the division. And with that, we now shine our spotlight on Glory champion Tiffany van Soest.
It's been a long road to become champion. I give up a lot. I wreck myself in the gym day in and day out. Make sure that I'm ready for anything. It's not easy to be at the top. I'm Tiffany van Soest, Glory Super Bantamweight Champion of the World. I worked really hard to win that title, but I'm really not that happy with my performance. I know what I'm capable of, and I went in there feeling alone, feeling nervous. I'd been on my own as a fighter for that year, working with different coaches here and there. I just didn't really feel like myself. It's great to be back here in San Diego working with Alex. It's like I feel home again. I feel safe. The intricacies that he teaches me, they're so minor and so subtle, but I think his ability to vocalize or to verbally communicate what he wants me to execute, it's the biggest challenge that we face.
As soon as you're here, you might as well, bam! Make it count.
I feel like the reset button on life has kind of been pressed. My fight IQ, keeps increasing. Physically, I'm faster, I'm stronger, I'm sharper than I've ever been before. And at the end of the day, when he's in my corner, I show up to fight, and I fight really well. I'm not showing up to win. I already know I'm gonna win. I'm gonna knock someone out, and I'm gonna keep that title where it belongs.
Where does it belong?
Around my waist.
Here is Tiffany Time Bomb van Soest!
The first ever Glory Women's Champion.
What can people expect to see in Chicago? So if she wants to box, I'll box. If she wants to kick, I can throw kicks.
And Soest, a seasoned veteran in Muay Thai, she'll be looking to shock the world here tonight.
That's making a witch! The time bomb just went off on Esma Hassas, but Hassas gets back up to her feet. Wow!
Plan on knocking someone out in Chicago.
The future holds me wearing that big shiny belt, so get ready.
You can see Tiffany once again at Glory 44 Chicago, which takes place Friday, August 25th. And what a night it's sure to be with the welterweight and super bantamweight titles on the line. The much anticipated Chicago returns of Richard Abraham, Catlin Morisanu, and Dustin Jacoby. And of course, the one-night, four-man welterweight contender tournament. That'll do it for this edition of Inside Glory, but be sure to check your local listings for date and times in your area. And don't forget to check out all things Glory as well on our website, glorykickboxing.com. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter, as well as Instagram, and catch up on all the Glory features and fights on our impressive YouTube channel. I'm Todd Grisham, and I'll see you in the Windy City for Glory 44.
Are you ready for Glory?